Hey everyone, this is Gaming Solo, and today, while you watch amazing footage of me doing some boxing with some guys, which I'll talk about a little bit towards the end, we're going to discuss this 4.1 update and all the interesting things that go with it. Now, last week we talked about insurance, which T0 insurance for the things on your person is part of this update, and we'll probably dip back around to that a little bit as we discuss. But I wanted to point out some very interesting observations with this 4.1 release. The first one is CIG seems to totally be in the business of selling a solution for a problem they've created. What I mean by that is the ATLS Geo, which is a very interesting addition. It's got the jetpacks, which is cool, but from my understanding, it allows you to mine both hand minables and vehicle minables, which, if I'm not mistaken, and that's a little sarcasm there, we just had that separated this patch. So your hand minables and your minables that you'll be doing in your rock and your other vehicles are not the same items. But for the low price of $40 war bond, I think it's 45 store credit, you can have a vehicle that does both. Now, I will say they balanced it a little bit because the vehicle, the Geo, does not do or not hold a whole lot of material at once, especially compared to something like the Rock. However, it still has that flexibility to do the hand minables, and I'm sure it does the hand minables a lot faster than you do with the multi tool. So that's an interesting take. But on the flip side of that, I will say that the Golem is a really nice addition. They actually priced that like a starter ship, and they called it a starter ship. And that was a little surprising to me that they did it that way. Yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of doesn't have a whole lot of a whole lot to that ship. There's no interior. There's no bed to log out in, which I feel like should be a standard for a starter ship at this point. But but you can't really argue with the price. I know a lot of people. I saw Salty Mike mention in the video he was thinking like just under 100 or something, especially since the Prospector is 150 dollars for the Prospector. Um, if I'm not mistaken, the Prospector holds about the same as the Golem as well. So that's it's a very interesting turn of events there, right? If you don't need the interior, you can get Golem and save a lot of real world money, and I'm sure in-game money once it comes out, because I mean it's a starter ship. It's going to be pretty cheap. It's going to be pretty cheap. So I'm not sure what they're doing with the vehicles and the mining and all that stuff. It is a little weird. Um, the Prospector's in a very strange position now, unless it's your only ship. You know, um, ay ay ay. Anyway, so that's going on, and mining in general. Mining is in a really weird spot right now. You would think with all the concentration on mining that they're doing that we would be seeing some crafting coming into the game. And to date, funny enough, the only crafting you can do is with RNC and not and not minables. You can make multi tools and the attachments for them out of the Vulture and the Reclaimer, but you can't do anything with raw materials or even refined materials. Which brings me to my next item of contention with this whole mining thing. Why are they going the way they're going with mineral qualities? So, in the real world, which I understand Star Citizen is not the real world, but if you're going for a sim and something realistic in the real world, when you refine something, you just purify it against the other materials that are on it, right? So if you're refining copper from the raw ore, you're getting the pure copper on the other side. The copper is copper. What you do with it from there really dictates the abilities of that copper, right? Whether you're making copper wire or um, copper tubing, whatever you're using that copper for, that's what you're going to do to the copper. There's no magical number in the real world where this copper is 99% quality and this copper is 10% quality, unless there's other materials involved and the copper is watered down. And it sounds like Star Citizen is doing a more arcadey, gamey system where your copper, even after you refine it, is going to have qualities to it, and those qualities will affect the outcome of your crafting. While this worked in games that I like Star Wars Galaxies, it's a very classic MMO take on it. Honestly, it should be more along the lines of, I go get 100 pounds of copper ore and it's a 50% purity ore, assuming everything else that's there with it is the same mass and weight. Once you refine it, I should have 50 pounds of copper, right? And then that copper will go into whatever I'm crafting that requires copper, and whatever I'm crafting might require 2 pounds of copper, so I can do 25 of those items with the amount of copper that I have, plus whatever else I need for those items. It's the way they're going is so arcadey, and in a realistic environment that they're trying to create with everything else, it just seems out of place to me. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they see it. I know there's been posts about it in Spectrum. Hopefully they try to right that ship in the right way. I don't like the idea of going out and mining 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 to get high quality copper for something I'm going to build. I should be able to mine for the copper, get a set amount of copper out of what I've found after refining it, and then be able to use that copper to produce the items. We'll see what they do, but I don't like the thought of that system in this game in the way that they seem to be implementing it. I really think it needs to be, you've got copper in here, but you're going to have less when you refine it because it's not pure copper, right? Anyway, that's my mining rant. But the event, or really the sandbox event of 4.1, I hope it sticks around. Like, I hope that's a static thing in the game. Every game needs static things that you can just decide to go do, right, that are sandboxy. Triggering a laser from orbit to create a mine that you can go mine, that I feel like that should be a static event. Like, that should never go anywhere. And they haven't said that it is going anywhere, which is great. But I think that's just a cool event to do with a group that you can do anytime, right? 3 years from now, we'll say, hey, let's go mine, on Daymar. And that'll be fun. So I do like that. We'll see how the community handles it. I know it's in Stanton. I know that you're going to get crime stats if you shoot each other unless somebody disables the comm link, which I'm sure is going to be happening a lot. I know newer players that have come around since 4.0 probably don't know the effects of that, but if somebody disables the comm link in the area that you're in, specifically for this event around Daymar, you're going to get killed freely, and the people killing you are not going to get a crime stat. So there's that. A lot of people said, oh, this is the PvE version of the stuff that you can do in Pyro with PvP. Not exactly, because you're not guaranteed to be safe. You got to pay attention to whether the comm array is up or not. Otherwise, it'll be open season just like in Pyro on Daymar, which could be fun, but it means people that are solo or small group runners like me will probably have to wait for a few weeks for the excitement to die down and the big orgs to be done with what they're doing out there to be able to have a shot at it. Other things in this patch, like bug fixes and stuff, I haven't ran into serious bugs lately. Maybe you have. I did, funny enough, you'll see in next week's video, my first experience with 4.1 Live was server error. I literally logged in my starting location to a server error. It was great. It was very fitting for a new patch in Star Citizen. Again, you'll see that in next week's video. I've already gotten the footage for it, and that's a fun adventure as well. But speaking of adventures, what you're going to see, or what you've been watching in this video, is me getting into a boxing match with a few guys. So what happened was I was trying to be a pirate again, which I'm obviously terrible at. Well, maybe not terrible at it. I just haven't had an opportunity really, right? Except for the fail last week where I let the guy see me, and so he ran away instead of fighting me. Even if he had fought me, though, all I would have gotten was a ship, right? He hadn't loaded anything on it yet. So I was trying it again, and someone came by and blew up my Avenger Titan, and then somebody in a Hornet landed. And so I went over and I said, I'm kind of done. I want to go back to the station. I'm just going to hijack this Hornet. Let me go kill the owner and take the Hornet. So I found the owner, and then I started working on trying to open up the Hornet's doors, well, the cockpit. And while I was doing that, I got downed. And VoIP was working, at least in this instance, right? We've had a lot of issues with VoIP. And the player was like, hey, long story short, hey, are you in an org? No. If you want to join one, we'll have some tryouts, right? We'll do a boxing match. And he had drugged me with the med gun, and so I was really woozy and everything was blurry. And I was, I typed in chat. I couldn't see what I was typing. I'm assuming I was getting my point across and not typing a lot. But I typed like, hey, I'm really woozy. Is that, he said, yeah, that's part of it. Like, you got to overcome it. So a buddy of his came down and we had a boxing match and I won. And I was like, awesome, I won. And he said, hey, round 2 is coming. And another person comes down. I had to box them. And I boxed them and won. And then they said, okay, here comes the boss. Third guy shows up. So I had to have a boxing match with him. That boxing match went on forever. That was long. It was, gosh, I don't know, 10 minutes. I'm not looking at the video now, so I don't know how long of the video was that boxing match. But I did, in the end, overcome in that one as well. And so I applied to join the org. I haven't heard yet. My application's still pending on the site, which is fine. But it was a lot of fun. They let me fly off in that Hornet. The guy that downed me was actually the owner of the Hornet. So I guess he got back real fast after I killed him. Sorry about that, man. I just wanted your ship and no problems. But yeah, so fun, engaging gameplay, emerging gameplay, as the PvP community likes to call it, which was great. It was a lot of fun. The guys were cool. If you need an org, check out Bad Company. A bunch of cool guys. I still don't know what they're all about yet. I don't know if they're pirates or they're just having fun. I don't even care. They were fun guys. That's awesome. If they want to teach me how to be a pirate, that's great. I'm not really a pirate myself, but I wouldn't mind having a little fun while it's in alpha. I am going to be on the straight and narrow when the game goes live. But, while it's in alpha and we're testing things and we're just having fun and we know that all the stuff we have now outside of our hangar isn't going to be there forever, I'm okay with messing around here and there. Especially now that Tier 0 is on. I'm not going to feel bad for killing somebody with some subscriber armor because they're going to respawn with it anyway, right? Anyway, drop your thoughts down in the comments. If you want more content like this, just hit the subscribe button. That'd be great, and it would help me out a lot trying to build the channel up, see what we can do with it. But yeah, no, definitely comment. I enjoy the comments the most. I love to hear people's takes. And I will probably comment on it because it's not like a million people are commenting, right? Anyways, I will catch you guys later out in the verse.